We breathe in what trees breathe out. And of course, you probably know that we breathe in oxygen, and the leaves on the trees are respiring or breathing out oxygen. And the nice thing is that the leaves are breathing in carbon dioxide, which is what we breathe out. So we have this nice reciprocal relationship with the trees. And on a beautiful day like today, which has a bit of a breeze, it means that all that oxygen that the tree leaves are making is blowing around, and the air, therefore, where I'm standing right now, is beautifully rich in the oxygen that these trees are making. Now, the interesting thing is that because it's autumn, the leaves are changing color and getting yellow and orange and red and brown and falling, and by winter time the deciduous trees are going to be bare of leaves. And it turns out that that is a wonderful thing as far as the oxygen in the planet goes, because you see, at nighttime the leaves on the trees are respiring carbon dioxide just like we do. So the trees are not making oxygen at night, they are making carbon dioxide, and we do not breathe carbon dioxide. And in fact, we breathe out carbon dioxide, and the carbon dioxide levels in the earth are going up, and evidently scientists believe that this is what is causing climate change. But the really fantastic thing is that, you wonder, where can we get more oxygen? Except, of course, from oxygen making machines. But what are we going to do? Make machines all over the earth to create oxygen? We actually don't need to, because the trees and the phytoplankton are creating all kinds of oxygen for us. The problem is, how do you make more oxygen? Because the phytoplankton also create oxygen through photosynthesis. That means that at night they are not creating oxygen. As far as I know, I've done some research and can't find it exactly, but it seems, well, I know for sure, photosynthesis only happens in the light, meaning the daytime. So the thing is, the problem is that since we have seasons here on Earth, that means that during the winter, whether you're in the northern or southern hemisphere, whenever your winter is, that means your nights are longer than your days. So therefore, whether you're a tree or a phytoplankton, you are making less oxygen at that time. And certainly if you're a tree, you are making carbon dioxide. When the nights, you're making more carbon dioxide in a day, a 24-hour cycle during the winter, because the days are short and the nights are long. And that is what I'm imagining is happening with phytoplankton. Now, I'm really interested in oxygen because I need oxygen to live, just like every other creature on Earth needs. Us mammals and many of us on Earth need oxygen to live. So I'm very, very interested in what is creating oxygen. And that's one of the reasons I'm so interested in these trees, because they are creating huge amounts of oxygen during daylight through photosynthesis. unfortunately, at night, they are creating carbon dioxide the way we are constantly breathing out carbon dioxide. So let's take, hypothetically, a day in which nighttime lasts 12 hours and daytime lasts 12 hours. So the question is in this one half of the day, are the trees making the same amount of oxygen during the daylight half of the day as they are making carbon dioxide during the nighttime of the day? In which case, they both pretty much cancel each other out, because what I'm interested in is what is making more oxygen. And what I realize is that because the trees lose their leaves during the winter, when the days are shorter than the nights, it means that during the winter time, the trees are making no carbon dioxide. Now, if they had leaves all year long, they would be making more carbon dioxide during the days when the nights are longer than they would be making oxygen on those days. In which case, because there are seasons, the amount of carbon dioxide and oxygen would cancel each other out, and again, we wouldn't have extra oxygen. There wouldn't be any extra oxygen being made as we deplete the oxygen through breathing, industrial processes, etc. So I'm hoping that I'm seeing the math of this correctly. So say we have a nighttime that is 16 hours long and a daytime that is only 8 hours long. Well, that means, or it could mean, that the trees are making twice as much carbon dioxide on that day than they are making oxygen. Well, that's not going to do us any good, as we are depleting the oxygen stores and adding carbon dioxide to the earth. We want some kind of system that is going to make for us more oxygen than carbon dioxide. So say you have a day that is 16 hours daylight and only 8 hours night. Well, in that case, this is a summer day. I would imagine then that you've got twice as much oxygen being made by the trees than you have carbon dioxide being made by the trees. Now, I don't know any of this specifically, just specifically how much carbon dioxide does a tree make in a 12-hour period compared to how much oxygen a tree makes in a 12-hour period. But it has occurred to me that during the time when the nights are the longest and the trees could potentially be making the most amount of carbon dioxide, that is when the deciduous trees lose their leaves, which means that altogether what the trees are making, our deciduous trees and our land plants, they are making a net gain of oxygen, because they're only making oxygen during those months of the year when the days are much longer than the nights. And I gotta tell you, to me, that's really exciting and really hopeful, because it shows a way that naturally the air can be replenished of oxygen instead of there being more and more carbon dioxide, which is what we are creating both through population and through industrial processes. I don't know, what do you think about all this? I got all excited about this. Every year at this time, I'm all excited about it. And so I thought, hey, why not this year just make a video about it? I also should tell you that I'm Caroline Chapman, and I'm the author of When We Were Gods. And it's a book about my memories of Atlantis. And while I was writing the book, I had a channeling experience from Pan, the Lord of the Wild. And he had a message for mankind. I gave him a chapter in the book, and he said that nature really wants and needs to be appreciated. It's like we keep taking nature for granted. Well, good heavens, when you think of how nature is set up, that the trees make a net gain of oxygen, of way more oxygen than they make carbon dioxide. I mean, that is something I really, really appreciate. What about you?